How are you finding navigating a hookup culture?
Like, makeup sex is like some of the best sex you can have.
No,
it's
so
all
how
good.
has the open relationship advanced? Has it advanced? People who ask, so who's the man in the relationship? There's things in my life I won't let go, and that's being cheated on.
I class myself as bisexual, like I'm attracted both to men and female.
You're sending nudes before the first date, so you might as well have it in real life after your chicken and chips from Nando's, you know?
Or you could be like me and just enjoy the date and then go into
Came on one of your live shows and showed everyone my toupee under a waffle. Who does that? Me.
Yeah, it was only to get personal.
I wasn't getting personal, I was being honest and giving you a kick up the arse. I do need to tell you something, I'm actually in an open relationship. Nothing vexes me more than my time wasted knowing the fact that I was always a piece on the side. Hello and welcome back to Cocktails with James. I'm James, your host, and today we have a very, very special guest. This week's guest just isn't a fellow podcaster. He's a true inspiration, a good friend, and someone who's turned personal challenges into something powerful and positive. Taylor James is the host of the Waffle Shop podcast, a show that started as a way to open up about mental health and has since grown into a platform that's racked over 500,000 downloads. It's been nominated for awards and has brought joy, honesty, laughs to listeners all around the world. He's hosted live shows, chatted with icons like Ed Sheeran and yours truly, and even landed a job opportunity in New York City through his podcasting journey. And while I may be the washed-up reality TV star in the room, Taylor is a star in his own right. Today, I love how you're laughing at that. Today, he's on Cocktails with James to spill a bit of tea, dive into topics like polyamory and relationships, and of course, serve up a waffle or two along the way. Please welcome my lovely friend, the brilliant Taylor James.
It's so cringy, isn't it? Hearing all those
Did you like
things about yourself. It was beautiful. Like, honestly, it's a pleasure. Like, I say it quite a lot with this kind of stuff, like from those just kind of like simple conversations, like the people that you get to meet. So the fact that I'm now sat here as a friend, a fellow podcaster, like it's mental. So yeah, it's a pleasure, mate, and thank you for the nice words.
You're welcome. I'm sure you get to hear that all the time about yourself, and thank you for being, I guess, one of my first guests. Honestly, it is absolutely, it's just mad. Like, not even a year ago, I was a guest on yours, and I had a dream about starting a podcast, and here we are in a homemade studio at home in my mum and dad's third floor of their house.
We've all got to start somewhere. Like, I started in my bedroom, and now I'm sat in a product. Well, I'm sat in the room where we first met, to be fair, for a waffle. So yeah, it's surreal. You've always got to start somewhere. You don't know what it's going to lead to. So yeah, it was meant to be.
Exactly. No, and I agree. And I've had like this longing to start this podcast for a while. I just didn't have the time or the energy and the mindset, I'm not going to lie. And then all of a sudden I thought, actually, I can do this. And just in like a few weeks and months, here we are, a mic's in hand.
There we go.
So
One
to begin,
thing, though, I do need to say about the intro.
What?
And I feel like this is very James Allen of me to do. So I feel like I need to do it. It's not 500,000 downloads. It's 1 million.
Oh, is it? Okay, I stand corrected.
I'm joking. What a dick.
I'm going to keep this in. This is going to be the first segment of that podcast. I'm going to correct you. It's 1 million episodes. And then I'm going to do my little segment. It'll be 500,000. And then it's going to be you. Sorry, I'm going to be a dickhead a minute.
I feel like it comes with the territory now. Like, I feel like... No, I'm just stopping now because people are going to hate me already. I won't do that.
No one can hate that face. See?
My family.
Tell us. We'll talk about your family very, very, very soon. So before we get into any of the juicy stuff, I love to always do a nice little cock check-in. And this is something that can be a nice scandalous sentence about what your week's been like, what your month has been like. It can be something, I don't know, motivational, something that, you want to get off your chest, or just a nice little check-in. So how are you doing?
Okay. I'm good, to be fair. Like I'd said to you, like before we hit the record button, like I was in a bit of a funk today. And obviously was kind of relying on this to kind of pull me out of it. And it's working so far. So
in all 4 minutes.
In 4 minutes, like
Yeah.
just the longest that I've lasted in a funk. No, actually, that was a lie. That was supposed to be a compliment. It sounded a bit backhanded.
It did sound a bit backhand. I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say it's just the longest you've lasted, to be honest.
No, I have quite the opposite with that. Like, it takes me a very long time.
Does it?
Yeah. Is that what you meant by cock check-in? Or is
I
that
didn't
just the
mean
name of the
sexual. I just called it the
Oh,
cock
right,
check-in,
okay.
just because the name's cocktails, isn't it? So I just called it the cock check-in, and you can take from that what you will. Some people can keep it PG, others can take it to OnlyFans standards. It's your choice.
Okay. I'm gonna go all no, actually. I feel like I need to be careful because I feel like I said to you again before we start recording, like you've got a very dangerous habit of bringing me right out of my comfort zone. Um,
Good.
I'm going to start by saying if it's like a motivational thing, I think if it's anything like both of our journeys has kind of like taught us is that we can do absolutely anything we put our mind to. The only thing we can't do is give up. And I think both of us have kind of, as much as there's been bumps in the road with both of our journeys, personally, professionally, I think the fact that we're sat now connected, like having this kind of conversation, of a product of kind of doing something that we genuinely love doing, like it's a real kind of like privilege to be able to do. So if anyone takes anything away from that, just end the recording here because it's probably going to go completely downhill from this point.
Yeah, I know you, and I think some of the listeners hopefully know you, but please could you give me a brief introduction into the waffle shop and how it's helped with your mental health? And that will be the only conversation we have about mental health, because right now we are both sane girlies.
Yes, I feel that. But to be fair though, it is a huge part of my journey and I wouldn't be here without having that kind of conversation. So it probably does make me sound a bit hypocritical, but you do get to a stage, if you do the same thing over and over again, you do kind of get like bored. It's spice it up a little bit. But yeah, a number of years ago, I nearly lost my mom to an operation that went horrifically wrong. And in the process of kind of coming to terms with, I guess, dealing with potentially losing my mom, like learning how to run a house overnight, becoming essentially a parental figure to my younger sister, my mental health completely crumbled. I was told weekly that my mom wasn't going to make it. And every time I was told, it kind of chipped away something. I'd never really heard about mental health before this kind of all happened. And then, yeah, it kind of got to a stage where I just completely hit rock bottom and I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders and I just couldn't do it anymore. And it kind of got to a stage where I didn't want to continue living my life the way it was being lived. And thankfully, with the help of my best friend and my younger sister, I reached out, got some help. I started talking about it. I started the podcast and I very proudly now say that it completely saved my life. Like I dread to think where I'd be if I didn't start the waffle shop. My mom is now very well looked after in a neurological care home. She's my biggest inspiration and like the driving force behind it all. So yeah, it's quite surreal, to be honest. It's the fact that I still get to talk to my mom is the biggest blessing anyway. But then all of the stuff that, I guess the beautiful stuff that has been born out of all that pain, like it's insane. And now not only do I have a very successful podcast, like I've made some incredible friends. My life is completely different and I'm a businessman now, something that I never thought I would ever be. And I'm sat in my very own studio that I now produce other people's podcasts. So yeah, it's been quite the journey over the past kind of few years. But again, it's just something simple about sometimes just having that one conversation or doing that thing that you don't want to do sometimes turns out to be the exact thing that you need to do because yeah, it's surreal. Like I still struggle to articulate like the impact that it's had. And yeah, I get very kind of like, I don't know the words, like in my feels when I'm asked that question, because I'm like, every time, even though it probably does sound like
Like
really
reflection,
rehearsed, like
isn't
it
it?
takes me back. Yeah. And it's hard not to feel it, like especially having that reminder with the studio and stuff, that from that painful moment I started something, and now seeing it every morning when I get to work, and like having other people come in and share their stories or their passions, like it's mental. So it's got,
Mm.
obviously it's come at such a cost for me and like my mental health and my family, but also something incredibly beautiful has come from it. So it's hard to stay in the negative when so much positive has come from it. So yeah, and it's I don't know, it's mental.
You really have had a journey, and it's like that age-old saying, or a saying I think is age-old. I don't know. It's like what you don't go through won't change you in like the best
Massively.
possible way, and it's like finding beauty in the pain of everything, and that's exactly what you have done to be the person that you are, but also to inspire over 1 million downloads and all these people that you've helped along the way of motivation and bringing up conversations, especially in men as well, whether it's LGBT
Yeah.
or the heteros. I'm joking. I love you. Some hetero men, I love you. And you know, and you've brought out that conversation from that pain, and you've got a studio. You're an award winner. You've got an employee or employees. You know, you're doing really, really
Yeah.
well, and it's like, and it's a testament to it's not always going to be hard. It's not always going to be a bad day. There will be bad days, but you
Of
are a
course.
testament to pushing through and making something out of it. How did becoming a podcaster lead to working in New York City?
Ah, I signed an NDA around this, so I need to be very careful about information that I share. So, in the height of the pandemic, the podcast got the attention of quite a high profile doctor in New York City.
Oh wait, you've told me
Yeah.
this story,
Yes. So, thank you for bringing it back up
but
again.
no one else knows, so let's tell everybody else.
And yeah, it turned into a bit of an opportunity that I thought was a dream scenario. Like, some doctor in New York wants me to host and produce a podcast for them, flying me out, this, that, and the other. But obviously, it was the height of the pandemic, so there was not a lot of traveling being allowed to happen.
Hmm.
And then it very quickly turned into a bit of a nightmare. So it was quite a toxic environment to be in, even though it was remote. There was this expectation of me kind of working like 18 to 19 hours a day. And they wanted me up at like 6 a.m. training with like a bodybuilder in Marbella. They wanted me to go on the keto diet. They were sending bottles of like Dom Perignon to my house at like midnight, 1 a.m., which all sounds great. It all sounds like, oh, that's actually really nice. But
Sign me up, bitch.
yeah, I was going to say, call me back, please.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on in that I was just like, my gut was screaming at me like, this isn't your opportunity. And then it kind of got to a stage where I stepped away. I was like, I think the final straw was when I got all the way to Heathrow Airport, tried to fly, and I couldn't because of the travel restrictions. They wanted to send me to Mexico for 2 weeks to stay there and then travel into New York. And I was like, well, I at that time wasn't able to see my mom because she's in a care
Mm.
home. So we weren't able to see her for about a year. I was like, I can't go without saying goodbye to my mom. So the home very nicely let me say goodbye, give her a hug, got all the way to the airport, wasn't allowed to travel, and then kind of got back and I was like, oh, I can't travel, this, that, and the other. And it was just met with such like, as if I didn't get on the plane, like on purpose. I was like, I'm stood at Heathrow Airport. Like I had to ring my mate to say like, can you come back and pick me up? And they were like, no, 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 get on the plane. You're going to love it. I was like, no, 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 I'm not allowed on the plane. Like you need to come back and get me. And then, yeah, I
I love
just
that your
made the
friends thought you were having
decision.
second thoughts.
Yeah, I know. Like completely like lying about it all.
No, I
And
want to
then, yeah,
leave. I can't.
exactly. But then, yeah, it was a very difficult conversation. And to be fair, it wasn't even a conversation. I just got a notification to say your contract has been terminated. And then at the time I was gutted, but at the same time, I was like, this was never my opportunity. And then 2 days later, I was sat on a Zoom call having a waffle with Scarlett Moffat, which is something that I wouldn't have been able to do if I was in New York. So as much as, again, it's like negatives to positives, but it's just kind of taught me like what's meant to be will never pass me by, because now I'm sat in proof of why I wasn't supposed to get on that plane. So yeah, it's been the journey, James. It's been quite the journey.
I'm not going to lie, I'm really envious of that story, but I also hope that that person watches your growth and success after their narcissistic tendencies, to be honest.
All of it.
Really
Like, it
hope.
was just a completely different culture. Like, didn't get my sense of humor. And I just thought with everything
Sense
that
of
I'd been
humour.
through with them, you know I've got
You're
a sense of
funny.
humor. Don't you dare. Do
He's so funny.
um, but yeah, it was just a completely different kind of like culture. And I thought after the kind of contract was kind of like terminated, I never heard a thing, not even like a check-in or anything like that, which is kind of, on one hand, it's quite understandable. But then on the flip side of that, like I was in group chats with like his family and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I clearly didn't mean that much to you. So it was very narcissistic. It was very
Hang on, was this
toxic.
a relationship?
Well, I no, it wasn't. But when I have these kind of conversations and I talk about it, there's a few things that have been said, like, "Oh, are you sure you weren't being groomed?" and
I was
stuff
just
like
about to
that.
say, were you groomed? I think you were
It's
groomed.
in
I've never been
hindsight, I think I
groomed.
was groomed.
I'd like to try. I'm
I'll,
joking.
I'll give you their number after.
Please, I will happily go to Marbella. Listen, I'm seeing Beyonce in a few weeks, right? And I'm trying to get my arms to look amazing for this outfit that I want to wear. So if they can send me to Marbella, get me ripped in that time, and I'll just say sorry, I can't come back.
I mean, by all means, give it a go.
Mm. Okay, two more questions, and then we'll get into the good shit. Wildest or proudest moment of the waffle shop and beyond?
Ooh, um, of the waffle shop in particular, I would have to say, I think it's the live shows. I think, and the award. I think
Hmm.
I went through. I mean, I've spoken to you about this, like in private and stuff, about
Yeah.
really struggling with kind of keeping it going. It's a lot of work, as you know now well know. Um, but it's all about like getting out of the comfort zone and stuff. So when I decided to, like, you know what, maybe there's an element here of like I can do like a live version, and to kind of then be able to do it at festivals, and like you're at the London date and stuff like that.
I
Like,
was.
it's surreal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all these things that I think as a kid, like I really wished I could do but didn't know how to.
Mm.
Like, I've now kind of achieved. And I think the fact that it's been downloaded like a million times, like over the last 5 years, is just, it's just insane. Like some of my own family members don't want to talk to me, yet some people in like South Korea and like Brazil and stuff like listen in like week in, week out, and I'm just like, and it went to number one in Switzerland.
It did. As I was just about to
Like,
say, you went one
it's,
number one.
yeah, it's batshit. Like, there's been so many like highs with it, but I think, to be fair, I think the proudest moment about it all is, think it hasn't changed. It's never tried to be anything that it's not. It's stuck to its guns from the get go, and yeah, despite kind of like the success that you would kind of like, I guess, list out, like it's
Mhm.
never lost sight of like why it was, like why it started. Um, so yeah, it's probably a bit of a wanky answer, but it's a mixture. Like, it's, I don't know. It's all of it makes me proud daily.
Good, and gratitude is the best way to be. Grateful is the best way to be, isn't it? And I think it's like what you said, doing everything that you've done, but also being grateful for every moment just shows how genuine you are for the process, and that you're not
Yeah.
taking anything, I don't know, Don't know what I'm trying to say, really. Like to the not to the extreme. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you're taking it like you've taken it step by step and day by day,
Yeah.
and then you've grown it over these 5 years, but you've remained the same. So it just shows that like this is what you're
Yeah.
meant to be doing.
No, always, and I think it's trusting the process with this kind of stuff. Like don't get me wrong, I've had like a few people say like, "Oh, I don't know who you think you are," and those kind of comments. But I was like, it's quite sad because I actually haven't changed. I think all I've done is kind of grown into my skin with it. Like I restricted myself, like, and kind of sat at tables and put myself in like a cage and stuff that I never really belonged in, or kind of I was always going to outgrow. And I think the people who have kind of had that kind of attitude, I think they're just a little bit scared of change
Mhm.
or growing because you're no longer, they're no longer getting the version of you that they're so used to. Um, but I'm okay with it. I'm at peace because as much as kind of one door closes with some people, like I've now got a whole new bunch of people in my life that I've known for 5 minutes, but are my biggest cheerleaders. So it's always kind of redirection, not rejection with this kind of stuff. It's
Oh,
been a
I love
tough,
that.
it's, yeah, you can have that one. It took a long time to get to that. And don't get me wrong, there's days when it's still quite like it hurts, but I haven't changed. I've just given myself a chance.
Mm. And that's the thing with people in your life who almost stagnate and you change in different ways and like throw the book of life to the wall and say, do you know what, I'll do it my way. And if you don't like it, that's your problem, not mine. But the people who think you change just, it's like it is a form of jealousy in a way, isn't it? You're going for things that
Yeah.
might not work, but they're just scared of the rejection. And you know this, especially in the industry of social media, podcasts, and I don't know, TV as well. It's so many rejections for like a 0.1% of success. And no one
Yeah.
sees those rejections and they look at the success or growth and they just think, oh, that's obviously going to have changed them. When really it hasn't. You're grateful for that 0.1% almost. And people can't
Yeah.
see that because you're constantly looking like you're doing the next best thing. But in order to grow in this industry, you have to keep going. You can't
Yeah.
stagnate. You have to constantly evolve.
No, I couldn't agree more. If actually, I think getting to that point actually stunted its growth stunted its growth. Like especially, I felt like I was posting too much on social media. Like I felt like I was posting too much like success, but like not to sound like a dick, but for someone who has experienced so much kind of like self limitation and negative self like worth and belief, like to now finally be in a position where I'm so comfortable in my skin, comfortable and confident in my ability, it's I think it's quite sad that you would kind of like
Mm.
try and tear that down when again it's I haven't changed. I've just grew into the person that I'm supposed to be. And I think if anyone's listened to this and it's kind of, you know, if your growth is making other people feel uncomfortable, then I've wasted so much of my life worrying about that for others. And in reality, all it did was stunt my own growth. So you have to just kind of stick to your path and like trust the process with it because it's all someone is always going to talk whether you do bad or good, to quote Rihanna. But it's they're gonna do. And again, it's I know I keep kind of like going back to it, but like what's meant to be will never pass you by. And if that means losing a few people along the way, like yes, it's sad and comes with an element of grief, but what's beyond that point is far better than feeling like shit.
Hmm. And growth and evolution can be painful because I was saying to one of my podcast guests a few weeks ago actually that like choosing like this sort of stems into sort of what this podcast is about in terms of choosing to do things your way. And if people don't appreciate that or value the uniqueness that you are, they were never meant to be in your life regardless of how long they have been in your life. And if you're lucky that they're not in your life, no, for choosing to push and grow. And growth, I don't think many people talk about it, can be painful in
Yeah.
whatever shape or form it is, if it's, business, professional, identity, whatever, to grow can be painful, but you get there in the end.
It's also incredibly lonely. And I think this
Mm,
is one of the things like I've really struggled with, because when you're constantly being told like, oh, you're smashing it, you're doing so well, like your life must be great, but deep down, like I'm like, well, I'm not. I still feel like anxious. I still feel all of those kind of like weird mix of emotions that I've always felt. So it's like it's a weird like lonely place. Because like, well, who do I talk to about it? Because in Coventry, no one else really podcasts. No one really has been able to do what I've done, and it's like, well, who do I talk to other than kind of like people who live like miles and miles away? And it's it can be quite lonely at times, but I also wouldn't change it for the world. Like there's those as like stuff, and I'm sure you've seen like Mel Robbins and like the theory of like let them.
Love Mel Robbins.
Yeah,
Love that bitch.
it's just great. But like on the flip side of that, I have this thing of just like, well, fuck them. If they want to be part of my life, they'll be part of my life. If they want to support me, they will. If they don't, fuck them. It's just, it is what it is at this point. Like they're on their path, I'm on mine, and everyone can coexist.
And it needs to be the mindset of it's their loss, not yours.
Yeah.
Not everyone can coexist. I don't believe everyone can coexist. Once they're out of the life, you know, they're gone, goodbye, fuck you, like you don't they don't exist. That's the Scorpio in me. I will be honest. There's like a friend of mine that I've not seen for years, and it's constantly, I can't wait to see you, and then it's a constant letdown. I can't wait to see you, and it's a constant letdown. And our lives have evolved in so many different ways over those years that I don't really feel like I know that person, but that person knows me still because of what I do and post on social media, and I put everything out there. That they haven't supported it for the longest time, so I know they're seeing it. They say, "I seen your TikToks, I seen your posts, like you're doing so well. Where the fuck was I like then, you bitch?"
Yeah. It's sad though, and it's one of the biggest things that I've learned from the podcast and stuff. It's people will kind of want to see what you're doing, but they don't want you to see you do it well or better than them. And it's sad. Like we're not doing anything different. Like what we're doing is in them as well. They just haven't got to that point yet. And it's just come on, just like give yourself like a little bit of self-love. Like just do it. Just I know it's very different for a lot of people, but like just give it a chance. Give yourself a chance, because we're not doing anything that they can't do. I'm trying to be nice. I'm slipping it into that like.
I know you are. I'm trying to pull you back out of it, because not everyone is built for this shit. Not everyone's built for this shit. They're not. Yeah. No one's built. Not everyone's got a personality that's meant to be seen, and not everyone's got a face to be seen either. But we do.
Yeah, you can't have it all. But some of us.
And on that note, I really want to bring this last little bit of the waffle shop to this episode. Taylor, what's been grinding your gears?
In general, or just like, because I could sit here for hours getting this kind of shit off my chest.
Just give me your top grind of the week. I know it's only Tuesday, but...
Oh, actually, this is, if you pardon the pun, what has been grinding me is there is a skateboard ramp next to my studio, and the noise, I feel like I'm turning into like such an old man moaning about the noise. But
how old
for someone
are you?
who 35 now, from last week. Thank you for
You're in your
me
prime.
You're
a young 30.
Thank you. I'll take that. And it pisses me off. Like there is actually no consideration shown whatsoever towards like, I guess, my business. And yesterday I had to go down twice to say, can you keep the noise down? And it's just kind of like, I'm looked at as if like I've just punched their nan. I was like, regardless of like the business that I have, like constant banging and noise and like shouting and stuff like that would wind anyone up, whether it was outside of their house, outside of their business. But I work in like podcasting, so I need it to be a little bit quiet. And yeah, so yesterday they were grinding on their skateboards on the thingy. So yeah, if you pardon the pun, what has been grinding my gears is grinders.
I literally thought you were going to talk to me about Grinder, and I was going to lean in and be like, what? And then you started about skateboarding. I was like,
Yeah, sorry to disappoint.
definitely 35.
Reeled you right in there.
Yeah, you did. That was literally, that's like every other fucking straight man on Grinder. Reeled you right in.
Wow. Okay.
No, but I
Do you
get
wanna
it. It's
talk
very
about
disrespectful.
it?
But what? What we will get into? Oh yeah, I got plenty of topics to talk about myself in this episode. Okay. I love that. No, you always come up with the most random, like, issues as well, like the most random grinding issues.
It's just you can't ride the shit that happens to me. Like the past 7 years has just taught me. I'm just like, just roll with the punches. Like I've got no choice but to kind of laugh it off. But it's these kind of stuff, and unless someone asks me, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. But some of the most silly shit happens, and you're like, this can't just happen to me. Until I have conversations like this, and I feel like it happens to a lot of people. Not necessarily the grinders, but the minor inconveniences.
Yeah, people are just a minor inconvenience, and I'd love to tell you what's been grinding my gears
Oh, please tell me.
recently, please, because I want to get this off my chest because I haven't said it to anyone or on social media. I'm getting sick to fucking death of people commenting on my TikToks saying, your fucking ear transplant looks shit. Get a receipt for your ear transplant. Listen to me. If you had a real profile picture, I'm sure I could slate the fuck out of you. But I wouldn't slate the fuck out of you. I've spent £6,500 on a very happy hairline. I will find your mum and tell her to give you a fucking attitude check and stop being a fucking bully online. Unless you are my mum, then I don't know what you're doing. But it's pissing me off that people comment on the fact that I have spent money out of either pure jealousy or it does actually look like shit, and I'm so delusional that I think I've got a fucking weave on my head. But no, it fucks me off. I'm so annoyed. It annoys me every time, and I bite back, and I don't want to bite back, but I do because I'm very passionate about my fucking hairline, and I even came on one of your live shows and showed everyone my toupee under a waffle. Who does that? Me.
Yeah, and I think it's
And I'm
fucking
annoyed.
rude. Also, did
Thank
they
you.
not see it at the start? Like, if you're going to slate it at the start. You can't slate it now. Like, the growth, if you pardon the pun, the growth that it's had, like, is, like, incredible. And, like, seeing, like, where you were, like, months ago from a confidence point of view, like, this version of James, like, is the James that I remember, like, when we first met. So again, it comes down to like, fuck them. They're commenting on your videos. It's engagement. They're boosting it for the
exactly. You're going to stay on my foot. You're going to stay on my. I'm on your algorithm now.
And if anything, it's just kind of giving you ammunition because it's just like, well, actually, if you're taking time out of your sad little day to make a comment like that, well, then you're clearly doing something right, mate. Because like you're getting the reaction that you wanted, not the reaction that you wanted. Sorry, but like, no, actually, I don't know where I was going with that. But fuck them.
Thank you. I did swear a lot in that moment, and I do apologise for swearing so much. But it just vexes me. I just think if you haven't got anything nice to say, just don't say it. And even if it does look like shit, I will be having a second one anyway. So you will have something else to complain about then, probably. But I just think people are jealous. I've loved documenting the hair transplant journey because I've literally went on one of your live shows like 3 or 4 weeks after having surgery, and I looked like a fucking melon.
I think your face was still swollen.
My eyes were non-existent. And I'm there talking about being like, I'm usually the one that ends things. And
looking like that.
Looking like that.
Are you
yeah,
sure?
Absolutely.
Because I was this close to ending my live show because you looked like that. I'm joking.
All right.
You look great.
Bye, everyone. Great. Don't follow Taylor James.
You told me to be like this.
Get into it. Taylor, am I able to say that you are part of the LGBTQIA+ community?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
You are, or I can say that?
I mean, you can say it, but that's how rumours start, James. No,
but I know
definitely.
you are.
But it's a point. Yeah, I was going to say. No, 100%. Like, I don't know why you're asking questions that you know the answer to. But yeah, no, it's a
just
point
it
that
was
I
meant to be
wouldn't
like
have.
a segue.
Oh,
A
okay, sorry,
terrible
did I just completely
segue.
ruin that? Yes.
No, it's fine. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, you did. No, it's fine. But to be fair, right, I gotta just to go back to it on the live show. I tried to pull out of you in front of your boyfriend about you having a threesome, and you were like, "I'm not gonna answer that question. My
And
boyfriend's in
his
front of me." So
friends.
I turned to him and said, "Would it be a problem?"
I think it was the open relationship comment as well. I think you said, I was
Yeah.
like, no. Whereas I think it was like a week before the live show, we'd had a conversation about being open. I was like, my sister's in the audience, his friends are in the audience, and this is also being recorded. So I was like, I'm not going to answer this right now. So yeah, thank you for that.
No.
But no,
So
it's all
how has
good.
the
It's all
open
good.
relationship advanced? Has it advanced?
In somewhat, it has. Like, well, in a way, it has. In a way, it hasn't, because I'm now single. So, but we're very much still on great terms. Like, we spend quite a lot of time together, but it is that kind of like not necessarily friends with benefits, but it's very open. There's a lot of communication. He's speaking to other people, like I've spoken to other people, and we've tried to connect with different people. So it's very, I would say we're very open, but we're just not in a relationship. That makes no sense.
So you've literally just said friends with benefits.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at.
Listen, a friends with benefits is better than a relationship these days. Don't need no man
It's
dragging
true,
us down.
but
Unless he wasn't
there
dragging
is
you
like
down.
context with it. No, no.
Yeah, of
But that's
course.
the thing. Like you, I mean, you've met him. He's a diamond. Like
Very nice. Yeah.
I won't have anyone like say a bad word like against him. He's
Oh,
incredible.
I should
Um,
change all my notes now. I reckon.
I've just had to change mine as well. But we both met at a time when he was just coming out of a relationship. I was just getting comfortable being open about like my sexuality and stuff like that.
Mm.
And we just kind of stuck together. Whereas I feel like there was things that he needed to explore and kind of get out of his system. There was things that I still need to explore and get out of my system. So we just kind of like had a conversation, whereas I feel like we are very good together, but we're kind of limiting ourselves. And I feel like there's still so much to kind of explore, like what we like, what we don't like. And yeah, who knows what the future holds. But right now, we're very much like on two kind of like exploration paths, like separately. But we've both got the full support of each other. Like I will forever clap
That's
for him.
nice.
He's a brilliant guy, and vice versa. Like he's been very understanding. Like I was the kind of one who brought up the conversation in the first place about separating and kind of doing what we need to do and like exploring. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy conversation to have.
No, I bet.
But yeah, we're in a very, very good place now. And it's exciting. Like I'm loving kind of like chatting to new people and not having that like almost like the guilt of like, oh, I'm talking, it gets a bit flirty. And like last weekend we had the conversation that he was doing the same. And it was like, oh, so what are they like? And you know, it was just like a really nice conversation that can be had
That's
that is
really
very
nice.
supportive. And I think I've been very lucky with that kind of journey as well. Like I've never struggled with my sexuality like a lot of other people have. I hate that other people do struggle.
Mm.
But I feel like, yeah, it's all happened very naturally for me. Um, I can't remember what the question
And
was. Yes,
no,
to
it's fine.
being
It's
LGBTQ.
yeah, yeah. So in terms of you both now exploring your new pathways in sex relationships, then let's say,
Yeah.
have you always been comfortable with your sexuality in the sense of being sort of open about it? Or would you say this exploration has now come from the fact that you maybe opened up later in life, so now you're trying to figure out where you're going to take yourself in the landscape of the community?
Yeah, no, I completely like the second part to that. Like, I feel like I was very late to the party. Like, I've never
Mm.
struggled with my sexuality or sex, but it was just something that I just kind of closed myself off like for a huge period of time, and I was the family man at home. I was kind of playing a role that wasn't mine to play. So then when the podcast started and I started to kind of have different conversations with people about sexuality and being open, I was like, oh, well, maybe there is something there. Maybe, like, how do I know unless I've tried it? And yeah, I kind of haven't looked back really, because now I feel very comfortable like saying like I'm part of the community. Like I class myself as bisexual, like I'm attracted both to men and female. But then on the flip side of that, it's very much like, well, I'm attracted to a lot of people who are ambitious. If they can make me laugh, like it's the connection, like that side of things that until having these kind of conversations, I didn't think were a thing. I thought it was very much like, well, if you're attracted to men, you're gay. If you're attracted to females, you're straight. Like I didn't realize like how much of a spectrum it actually is. And it was actually, I was having a conversation with Demi Sims on the podcast about it, about us both feeling like at certain points of our life of being like asexual. And it wasn't until having those kind of conversations, I was like, oh my God, like there's a whole world out there that I do not know anything about. So I'm very grateful for conversations like this, like people like yourself that can actually make people feel comfortable to talk about it. But yeah, I think to answer the question, get to the point, Taylor, this is probably the most comfortable and confident I've felt in my skin, especially from like a sexuality and even talking about sex, like I've ever been.
And that's really good. And in terms of asexuality, is that, just to clarify, asexuality is building connection first with the person, not the sex or gender?
Yes.
That's the same thing?
Let me just double check that, because I think I got it wrong, because I thought asexuality at some point where I just wasn't attracted to anything. Oh yeah, that was it. So asexuality is a term used to describe someone who does not experience sexual attraction toward individuals or any gender. Asexuality is a sexual orientation and is different from celibacy, in that celibacy is the choice to refrain from engaging in sexual behaviors and does not comment on one's sexual attractions. So yeah, asexuality for a huge period of time, I was like, well, I'm just not attracted to anything. And that kind of had like a bit of a impact on me, thinking, well, there's clearly something wrong with me because I'm not attracted to females. But then at a huge period of time, I was like, well, I'm not attracted to men either. So what am I? And then having these kind of conversations, it was very much like, well, I don't want to put a label on myself. I understand labels and they're important for people embracing their identity. Like I will champion it all day, every day. But for me, I find them quite limiting. So yeah, it's I think it's a journey with this kind of stuff, and it's like so much of a spectrum that I think it's quite a fun thing to explore.
It really is a fun thing to explore. And especially now that you are in this, I don't know, I'm going to say this new situation then with your ex-partner, which is now a friend with potential benefits, but also support each other with other sexual exploration. How are you finding navigating a hookup culture and keeping your sense of self?
Yeah, it's been a bit of an eye opener. I didn't realize like how, because I'd only dated females for a huge period of my life, and there's always like emotion involved and like getting to know someone. Whereas I felt like when I've dated men, it's very almost like transactional, and it's very like straight to the point, get what you want, and then on to the next kind of vibe. So it's been a bit of a shock to the system, whereas like, can we not have a conversation? Can we not get to know me a little bit first? Not everyone's like that. I feel like I'm being a bit like I'm generalizing a little bit. But yeah, it's been a bit of an eye opener, because there's days like I said, like I'm more about the connection. Like I feel like if I can build a connection with someone, there's a bit of sense of humor and ambition there. Like, yeah, then the other stuff kind of like follows. But yeah, I haven't fully experienced like one night stands or anything like that, like as of yet.
I can't imagine having a home. Imagine having your own home, your own house. You've worked really hard together, and one day you have an open relationship, and there's literally three of you in a bed. That one goes home. The two of you are left. How would you have a conversation like, "Well, are you ready for work tomorrow?"
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'd be like, "I saw you looking at him a bit too much. You weren't looking at me in the eye." It's like I would start spiraling, so I could never.
But I think as well, like it is why these kind of conversations are so important because it's like it's experience, isn't it? Like if you know certain things are going to like trigger you in a certain way and stuff like that, like why would you put yourself in those kind of situations? And I think you do have to kind of experience it to understand like what you don't want. And as much as obviously you don't really want the pain and stuff, like I think it's very kind of open and kind of quite admirable in a way that you can now say like, well, I'm the best version of me right now, or
Mm.
well on my way to becoming the best version of me. So if someone isn't going to kind of meet me at that level and kind of elevate me, then I don't want to be dealing with anyone else's mess. This kind of like position that I found myself in has kind of like reignited that fire to really kind of prioritize like my self-care and kind of look after myself, and you know what will be in that kind of sense. If I meet someone on this journey, incredible. But right now, like if you're not gonna, especially from a relationship point of view, if you're not gonna bring anything to the table, or kind of you're starting off by making me feel in a kind of negative way, it is never gonna work.
I have nothing else to say.
So it's
This
like,
is now
I don't know whether you,
cocktail to Taylor.
I don't know whether you froze then.
No, I was just like in awe of what you said because I have nothing to add. I think it's just so true.
Mm,
Um, and it's yeah, and to speak, I guess, as two people in the community who one is kind of going through that change of polyamory or friends of benefit situation, and I'm not against it. I just it's not for me. And I've been in
yeah,
situations as well where I'm speaking to someone romantically, and then it's like a week or two in, and they get to the point, oh, I do need to tell you something. I'm actually in an open relationship. Nothing vexes me more than my time
yeah,
wasted knowing the fact that I was always a piece on the side and I gave a
yeah,
little bit too much into that person because like I reveal all about myself pretty quickly to people because it's who I am, is what I do. But then for them to not reveal probably the biggest part they should reveal in dating after a week or two, it's quite hurtful
I
in a
think it needs to
sense.
be from the get go. It needs
It's
to be.
very
I
muggy.
think that. Yeah, no, it is, and I think if even if you were to carry on that after like the first or second week, because obviously maybe there might be a bit of connection. I think if you can't be honest from the get go with someone about your relationship status or anything really, it's never going to work because, and to be fair, you know my friend Emma, like obviously we did the live show together. We did
Yes,
an
yeah, yeah.
episode last year about like lying and like why people do it. And she made this quote about, not she didn't make the quote, but like she kind of like spoke about it, is that it's not the lie really or hiding it that's the problem.
Mm,
It just makes everything else now look like dishonesty or a lie. And I think
yes,
with that kind of
absolutely.
thing can be so damaging. And I think it kind of it can like fuck people's heads up a little bit, especially if you've come out of a
Yeah.
relationship that hasn't ended quite well, or you know you're not quite where you want to be, like mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually, and something like that happens. It can be quite damaging. So as much as I'm saying like I'm exploring this, like from the get go, like but to be fair, I'm single, so it's not that kind of conversation, but
It's so
honesty is the
weird
best
though, isn't it?
policy.
Because you're single, but you still talk to each other a lot. And in
Yeah.
it's not messy because it's not messy. It's how do you explain it to someone who's not in it? And no one else needs to know. Like it's no one else's
Yeah.
business. Whatever you are doing together, whether
To be
it's
fair, this is the
whatever,
first
you
time
know
I'm
what I mean?
speaking about it like openly. Like a lot of my friends don't even
Oh,
know, and a lot of his friends don't even know. So I think it's all down to respect. Like I spoke to him
mm.
about the episode, what I'm going to be talking about, but I think from day one we've both just had that respect for each other of like and boundaries and honesty and do you know what I mean? Like
You
it's
just took over my next question, you bitch.
I knew where you were going with it.
Yeah.
Got a podcast sixth sense, mate.
I know, literally, you got podcast extent. So yeah, so let's talk about that then. Boundaries and managing feelings. How do you do that? Even if you're not fully in a polyamorous relationship or an open relationship, this is the closest we're going to get, right? Out of the two of us.
Yeah.
How do you manage expectations and feelings in those situations, and that you have to both agree on set boundaries, right?
Yes. It's a difficult one because I was very clear from the get-go with I guess the position that I found myself in. The rules were set by someone else in terms of what could happen, which also took the pressure off me a little bit because I was like, well, actually, that's kind of like okay. But then it got to the stage of like, well, I'm kind of being dictated to about what I can and can't do, which then didn't quite sit right with me. So then difficult conversations were had to be had. Like I was like, well, I don't actually feel comfortable. I understand that my actions might cause a reaction and make someone feel a certain way, but also I owe it to myself to, and like, I can't have gone through everything that I've gone through with like self-worth and self-development to then be told who I can and can't talk to. So I think
Yeah.
as long as you're sticking to your guns and you're being respectful and you're not being hurtful, I think you're well within your rights to say, this isn't working for me, or at least opening up the conversation. Well, actually, like, I understand that might make you feel a certain way, but also by that being in place, it's making me feel a certain way. So how do we get to that common ground? It's not difficult. No one wants to have a difficult conversation, but I think communication is key. Understanding is key. Having those boundaries in place from the get-go is key. And I think being on this kind of like mental health journey, having these kind of like self-development conversations have kind of really set me up in a really good place to have these kind of conversations. You know, being open or being with someone who's in a kind of open relationship is not long term where I want to be. I think if I wasn't in this kind of exploring phase, I wouldn't be doing it. But it's just the way life takes you sometimes, and I think you learn from it. Like, you have to experience new things. And I think, again, from a respect point of view, regardless of what happens, like, I know I've made a friend for life. Like, there's a connection there that I'm really grateful that I've made. So yeah, I don't know if that kind of answered the question, but I think it's
Yeah, it does. It's
clear
just a
kind of
curious.
communication.
Yeah, it's like that. I guess it's regardless of relationship or not, isn't it? It's all about communication. Well, I'm going to move swiftly on and make it a little bit lighter. I've come up with a little bit of a waffle game called Stirrup or Nah. So basically, love it or leave it.
Okay.
Kind of like what you did to me in my episode with you. Is that gay or not? And I
I
caused a
know.
lot of
I feel like that.
controversy
Yeah,
about
that didn't go.
gilets.
Didn't go down too well.
Okay.
Okay.
Morning after texts.
Syrup.
Okay.
Oh, I'd pour syrup on it. Wait, what am I supposed to
You
answer?
pour, yeah, you pour
Syrup.
syrup on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd pour syrup
You
on
like,
it.
you
I
can
think
say yeah,
it's
no. Like,
nice. Yeah, I think it's respectable. Whether it was good or not, communication is key. So yeah, I'd pour syrup all over that.
what if you don't want to speak to them after the fact? Because what if this happened?
Tell them that I had a really good time, but right now this is not for me. If you go down the whole ghosting thing, like, I think you're a bit of a scumbag.
With benefits.
Syrup all over that. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it can work. As expectations, boundaries, as long as it's all in place.
Yeah, there's nothing better than just if you can't if you can't find anyone new, there's always someone to fall back on.
Yeah, as long as, again, expectations and boundaries are in place and people aren't getting fucked over with their feelings.
Yes.
But again, communication is key, James.
You really are the angel, and I really am the devil. You really are making me out like a fucking bad person.
Yeah, but I think it's all for show because deep down I'm a massive slag.
People who ask, so who's the man in the relationship?
Nah. Like, none of your
Nah.
fucking business. Like, why is that even a question? If you're in a gay relationship, we're both men.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, what a stupid question. I think it comes down to that, like, boring old stereotypes that someone needs to be the male, someone needs to wear the trousers and all that bullshit. Nah, all day long. Nah.
No, I agree, and I think it can even come from people in the community when they ask, "Oh, who's the man in their relationship?" Because I think it stems from um, daddy issues
Yeah.
a little bit, asking who's the man in their relationship. Oh, it just shows a lack of understanding of what gay relationships are.
Yeah. A bit of immaturity
'Cause,
as well.
yeah, because 9 times out of 10, the man isn't
It's
even the
me.
man in a relationship. Date, sex,
Syrup on it. I
syrup.
think,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I mean, years ago, I think everyone would be like, oh, God, you can't do that. Either, the standards for men and women and all that kind of stuff, like, they're like, oh, you can't behave like that. That's disgusting. But I think in this day and age, I think quite a lot of people are very sex positive. So,
yeah.
yeah, why not? Syrup all over it.
I send nudes, so why not? Well, not me, but we people send nudes before a first date
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So why not just get it in real life once you meet them after the first date?
Okay, yeah. That's true. I think if you're seeing what you're buying, like, why not try it on the first time?
Exactly. Thank you. I just don't know what to say to this now.
What a fucking nerd.
Yeah, you just don't know how to respond to that, do you?
No. This is what
Have
happens.
you
This
ever
is why I
sent a
love
nude?
conversations like this. Have I ever sent
You
a
ever send
nude?
nudes?
Yeah.
Oh, how was the response?
Well, it was positive. I still talk to them.
The journey that you've had in self-discovery into the life you're living now, being this world-famous podcaster, 1 million people has downloaded your. Don't laugh at me. Your podcast has had over 1 million downloads, and you're now in this amazing position with partners and living your best back in life. What is your advice to the LGBT community who may be struggling with shame or self-confidence?
The biggest thing is to talk about it. Like, you're a part of a very like a really good community, and the feelings that you're feeling right now, like, I promise you, like, you're not alone when you're feeling them. There is probably millions of other people feeling what you are right now. So talk about it, reach out, and you'll always find your people. It may take time, it may be incredibly lonely at times, but reach out, talk, like, almost embrace it. Because believe me, like, as much as those conversations are very difficult to have, like, you weren't just put on this planet to feel like shit. Like, life
Yeah.
is incredible, and sometimes it takes just one of those difficult conversations and taking that first step, because you're not on your own.
Couldn't have said anything better myself. Last question before we get to go. Taylor, what are you thirsty for right now? This could be life, it could be
My
sex, it could be a
dinner.
drink.
Oh, um,
It could be anything, whatever you are thirsty for, even if it means inhaling food.
um, yeah, for a little bit of din-dins. Just a
All
little
right,
bit of din-dins, because it's all I can stomach at the moment.
then. Well, thank you so much for being my favourite episodes, my favourite guest so far.
You
And
say that
you
to
are.
everyone. Your
No, I
mum told
actually
me.
have not. No, I couldn't wait to start talking to my mum.
Oh, God. That's,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No.
that's not
But yeah, no, thank you. This is how I imagined being a podcast presenter would be, or host would be, having conversations like this. And it feels like fulfilling. And to have you as the guest from being like one of the best podcasts I've ever been on, I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for being so open and so honest and having no boundaries in this position.
Yes. Speaking of positions, I'm joking. No, it's been a pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Like, you've created the space. You've created the space for, like, people to be as open and honest. So, thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I can't wait for people to actually listen to this when it's up and running. But where can we all find you? And what have you got coming up?
I think anywhere you listen to your podcast, if you type the Waffle Shop, it's all there. Coming up, I'm back waffling, so new episodes are
Yes,
on their way
indeed.
out. I'm also up for 2 comedy podcast awards, so hopefully, yeah, up for best live podcast actually.
And
And
was
if
that
you
the London
can,
date?
I think it's all of them. To be fair,
Oh, okay. I was
like
going
it's
to say,
best
can I
live
come?
podcast, like 7th of May at the Clapham Grand. So yeah, it's
Amazing.
a big deal. So yeah, that's going on. And yeah, just doing more of what I love with the people that I love. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm hoping you win. And always remember, as Taylor said, set boundaries, and he's at over 500,000 downloads.
You can go off
Thank you
people,
for
you know.
listening. Thank you for listening. Bye, everyone. Bye.